Thank you. So we will gather ourselves into the center of ourselves. Into the heart center. Into the human beating, feeling, devotional heart center that is very, very open to universal energy and universal consciousness. So that we can individually take on that greater, more powerful pulsating of the universal heart. And we have to be fully open to it. It does not intrude. It will not penetrate. It will not take over. We have to invite it in, not by words, but by feeling. By feeling. Feeling beyond the emotions. There is no emotion here. It's when the emotions have been honored, when the instinctual heart has been honored into the intuitional heart, then we are ready for the universal consciousness. We're not ready up until then. So just imagine that universal heart of the deepest pulsation of love, which is harmony and balance, balancing out in us that which needs balancing. And that brings peace. Peace to the nervous system, peace to the endocrine system, peace within our whole being to include organs, breath, heart. And when the breath of the heart is felt in every organ of the body, we are well. Strong pulsation. And that natural sound of the heart. Feel it being poured into the internal organs and flowing through the heart circulatory system, the deepest, deepest compassion. The heart is willing to flow out into every organ of the body. It's peace. And to take from each organ what no longer serves us and brings it back into itself. It doesn't throw it away. It integrates the dross. And then flows an amazing river of grace back into us again. The purity of love. This is how our organs stay well and serve us to perfection. If there is a part of your body we call the target organ that can be affected when we are not in homeostasis within ourselves, when maybe there's too much stress from outer affecting inner, then let your eyes gaze with the deepest love on that part of your body, on that organ especially, and let this sound deep into it with renewal, cleansing energy. Thank you. And the silent ah goes on all day. The silent between the organs of the body. The heart keep pulsating. This all day, all night. Thank you. So when you're ready, come back into this space. And be with what is now. Thank you. We're naming this talk, this get together, the many mansions that Jesus the Christ spoke about in his words to the people. In my Father's house. Well, first of all, what do you mean by Father? And Father in the ancient Aramaic language also could be named as beloved, the beloved. In the beloved's house, there are many mansions. Well, we don't talk about mansions nowadays. I would like to call them aithe, or passageways, as I name in my books. They're literally stages of consciousness. The same as here we are today. We're in an aithe. I'm in my aithe internally today. You're in a different aithe because your life has brought you different experiences and you've responded or reacted differently to those experiences. And that's the way it is on the earth. I am who I am today because of choices I've made since I became an adult. You are today for the same reason. And as we look back on our lives from today until when we made that first, we'll say, conscious choice, I don't know when it was for me, it was quite a number of years ago, but I know that most of the choices I made as a young person were totally unconscious. And I would dare to say that up until the age of 42, all my choices were unconscious because I was still working out my life from trance. I was in a trance. And that means that you're dissociated. It means that you're robotic. Only the reptilian brain is really working. And thank God for it. What a gracious gift. kept us alive. And when we start making choices from a deeper place in us called wisdom, wise domini, we start seeing our lives differently. It doesn't mean they get any better. No. Whatever better means, easier. They don't get easier. We get more conscious in them. And that means that when that kind of situation comes around the second and third time, our responses can be different. And I use the word can be different. But as I always say, we are creatures of habit. So we go back to the unconscious habits of choice. And what does it mean to be able to make a choice? Choice needs freedom. Am I free in myself to make a choice? Am I free from past ideologies? Am I free from egoic structures when I make choices? Am I really conscious, knowing that, yes, this is something I'm going to do now? I have listened to my two amazing tutors within me, my instinctual self and my intuitive self. And I've listened to the mature heart rather than the child's heart in me. So I make a choice from a conscious place. And I have realized and seen in my life, when I do that, my life is so very simple. Totally simple. Why is it simple? Because there's no blame. There's no blaming of anybody else. When I make a choice, the consequences are laid out in front of me. You see, it was a great thing to be able to blame someone. I did that because he did, and I did that because she said. You see, we no longer have that privilege. So my choice would be free of judgment. Free of judgment. And so we're living our lives more like that now. We're not out there so much blaming, we're being responsible. And to me, the antidote for guilt is responsibility. When I'm in guilt, I'm in my child, and my immature child. When I'm in guilt, I'm in my ego mind. It's a great way of, what will I say? It's a great defense. Feeling guilty is a great defense. And you know, in our lives, it's seen as a good thing. Should God love her? She's always guilty of something. You know, she's always, oh, I shouldn't have done this. God help her, poor woman. To be guilty means to take on the role of victim. And that's fine. No problem. Take it on. But there's no power in guilt. The power is in being responsible. As I said in my last talk, I'm responsible for peace in the world. My contribution is providing peace or war for others. So where is this all leading to? I'll tell you what it's leading to. As below, so above. As below, so above. You see, people think, oh, when you die, you'll suddenly become this amazing angel. You're filled with love. Somebody said to me the other day there about my ex-husband, oh, isn't it wonderful, Philip? His suffering is all over, no more pain, received into the arms of Jesus. There's a great naivety in that. Received into the arms of Jesus just because you're dead. Why wasn't he received into the arms of Jesus while he was alive? We didn't make choices for that. He may not have made the choice to be received into the arms of Jesus or anybody else. But we impose a kind of holiness on people when they die. We can't speak the truth about them. They were great people. They were really wonderful people. They were human beings and made great mistakes like me. There we are. That sounds more comfortable, more truthful. We're still on the earth. They had lessons to learn just like me. Oh, but they're great. They were great people. They're really wonderful people. You must miss them terribly because they were great people. And they're safe in the arms of Jesus at last. And his little brother will be greeting him, and his mother will be there to meet him. How wonderful. He might not want ever to see his mother again. And that doesn't change just at death. So I think for me, it seems my job is to help people to get rid of the illusions of life and death. Look at it square in the face and say, this is life. It's full of choices that I make. It's full of consequences of those choices. It's full of decisions I've made. It's about self-responsibility, self-inquiry. I've got no guru to look up to. I've got no devil to look down to. Straight on view, looking ahead. We're all on the same journey. So where are you this morning with regard to your mansion? Where are you this morning? Which mansion are you in, or which acha, or which passageway of life are you in at the moment? In other words, what have you created for yourself so far this morning since you woke up? Down to earth. What have you created for yourself this morning since you woke up? It'll have something to do with the way you went to bed last night. It'll have something to do with maybe dreams you had or dreams you didn't have. It'll have something to do as to where your astral body went during the night that you have no recollection about. So there's an awful lot of not knowing about it. But this morning, so far, when you woke up, you had a choice to make, to be fully in life, to be fully in blame, to be fully in annoyance, or to be fully something else. Oh, but you see, somebody woke me up too quickly. There was a knock on the door at 4 o'clock this morning and I couldn't get back to sleep. Somebody's fault. You know, the alarm clock didn't go off. What? Oh, God, help you. Oh, that's awful for you. Poor thing, alarm clock didn't go off for her. It's just lovely. When I sit here and I look at my life and look at the life around me, and I truly listen to what people are saying to me, and I hear the way we move from blame to shame, both within ourselves and outer. So let's go to the mansions. I don't know where you are this morning. I have projected for myself this morning a very comfortable place on my sofa. I've already had 2 Zooms, one with my children, another with another friend looking for a Zoom this afternoon. And I've given attention to them all, and I've loved being with them all. And I told the last person, that's enough now, I don't want to talk anymore. And that was great. And I'm ready for this, and I'm going to be taught. I'm here to be taught. Because nothing is rehearsed. Life is not a rehearsal. It's here and now. And I'm here and now, longing to hear what I'll hear and be open to it and be willing to somehow take it in. Thank you. Thank you. As above, so below. In the dying process, we will go through many adventures. It is an amazing adventure from the onset of dying. When you hear he's dying, how do you know he's dying? How do I know? Looking at somebody in the bed if they're dying or not. They've been in hospital can't get out of bed anymore, muscles are not working, everything's a stress or a strain, can't eat anymore, can't speak, just whispers, and it's too much, and the beads of sweat just because they have to say something. And the eyes have something either terrible in them, or the eyes are saying, thank God at last. And the eyes will tell you, I don't want to go, I'm frightened, I'm scared. And the eyes, when they open wider, which they will during the deathing process, they're just staring either in confusion, what's going on inside, or staring at the wonder of life. You've got to be able to decide which is it as a watcher. And they're trying to say something and they can't say it. And they really want to say something to somebody. And they haven't the strength and they haven't the voice because the throat is closing down as the muscles in the body are closing down. And they want to say something. And sometimes the eyes get even wider because of their frustration, total stress through the whole body. They can't move their hands. It's a bit like being in trance again, like the child back in trauma, fight, flight, can't do either of that. But they fly inside. And most people at this stage of their dying, they fly into the place that's uncomfortable, and that is self-blame, because they know they can't come back to redo something. You'll have seen it many times, Anira, as I have, and you know the difference between that, the eyes that say, thank God I'm at peace at last, or the eyes that say, I'm scared, I'm frightened, I don't know what's going on. I wish to God I could speak to Rosie. I wish I could say that to my children, but I can't. That's a state of deep helplessness. And that's the state of deep hopelessness in the person dying. Because they know they're going to leave. They know it well. Of course they do. And they can't do the things, the unfinished business has to be left unfinished, incomplete. Incomplete, to be taken up in the next incarnation and carried on into completeness. And they will meet another person with the same traits next time around, different body, different form, same traits, and have to work it out the next time. So when we are in that place of near death, and we're experiencing the near death, and we're experiencing our body being lifted, we try to keep it down by pulling on the bedclothes, etc., like my ex-husband did. And we're feeling the fire inside us burning us up with heat and cold. And that terrible thirst. Nobody seems to know that just watering the lips will do me. Because I can't drink anymore, I can't swallow. Or just a cold, very gentle, not very cold, but cool, a cool swab around my mouth would have helped. But I can't ask for it. And thankfully, I was able to say to my daughter, these are the stages your daddy's going through. And she says, yes, Mom, I see it. But the nurses are telling me he's fine. But I know there's something going on. And the nurses says, what we'll do is we'll give him the pump now. We'll give him plenty of morphine. Oh, and they put a pump beside the bed and they pump the morphine in. And that was not what he needed. He needed a watcher at the bed. That's what he needed. Long after I've left this earth, people will be doing this. It's new now, but it won't be new then. And so the person who's in fear at this stage projects that fear with the last breath into the next state of consciousness, or acha. Same as what we do here. No difference, other than here there is help. There is no help later on when we pass into the first acha. The help will come from all the times we have asked for help on the earth and we received it. But if we have not been able to ask for help, that will not be the trajectory of where we go. So here we are, projecting ourselves to a consciousness of fear. Nobody has done this for us or to us. There is no God saying, you've been a bad person, therefore you're going into this awful place. No, God is not the judge. Your own divine self is the witness of what's happening, not judging, witnessing. So you're there in that place of wandering in fear. Wandering in fear. And when you imagine here on the earth, when you're wandering in fear, you can't ask anyone for help. Everything you do takes on that energy. Takes on the energy of being afraid of life and afraid of death. And that fear of death is what many people project into their next passageway. And you will stay there as long as you don't ask for help. And we're not asking for help from people or images or personages out there. The help has to come from within yourself. And some people don't ask for help. They keep wandering and wandering and stay near the earth to what they know, to the habit of being in form and having much around them. And many just stay around the house or stay around their artifacts. They will listen in conversations that they want to listen into. They will especially be with people in fear. They'll especially come back into members of the family who live in fear. The ones who are very, very sensitive, the ones whose immune systems are low, the ones whose nervous systems are low, the ones who have been used to overworking all the time and doing. This astral being will attach themselves and they'll stay around and hang around them. And that's the wandering that goes on, unsettlement of the soul, I see. The unsettlement, agitation. I imagine, I've been shown this, when we stay too long around earth people or form after we die, our astrals get attached to them. We begin to affect the people on the earth. We begin to affect them with our energy. And then people will say, oh, she's doing things exactly like her mother did. Isn't that interesting? Gosh, you're very like your mother. Your mother would have said that, yeah, very same way. I've seen this too often in my own family, where the astral being of the dead have come back to live in the living. And at that stage, this is where I would keep vigil. And at this stage, this is where I would light candles and speak words of release to that being. so that they can move on. People on earth whom I worked with and you've worked with who are in fear, you allow them to make the sound of fear. And you allow them to move into a different place within themselves. And this fear, sometimes you can just see it in the faces of people. You see it in their actions. And I see it in familial actions after the person in the family has died. You know that the astral is quite near. So getting together in groups of people, lighting one candle, and the focus of intention is that this being may be released from family members in the court of love. It's very powerful. It's very powerful. We need to be in a place of absolute equilibrium in ourselves in order to do that. And if we're not, we don't do it. So the many mansions, if we're still attached to material things on earth, still want to have that lovely house, to have all those beautiful things, we will create that through our imagination in the next life. We will simply create that. And we'll be attached then to maybe members of our family. We want to be with them. So we will conjure them up in our minds. We don't have brain activity, therefore it's easy to imagine and to absolutely manifest there and then. That's what it is, out of body. You manifest there and then. And you can walk in this materialistic world as long as you want. It's the astral world. And some people will walk that way for years on end, ages on end. They have not moved on. They're stuck in materialism. They've not been able to release it in life. They cannot release it in death. And it's a state or a place or a mansion, as we called it, that is unsatisfactory because we know on earth materialism does not satisfy the soul. It doesn't suddenly become satisfactory. So we stay there. The wonderful thing is, with our own spiritual evolution, as we evolve here spiritually, so we evolve there spiritually as well, we can have our eyes open and have that one thought, this is not satisfying. That one thought, this doesn't satisfy me. We might then move into a beautiful place of scenery, lovely mountains, lovely sea, beautiful ethereal realms. We can move there. It's still form, it's still earth form, but it's removed from the materia of house and things and ornaments and even achievements. We'll move around in this area for as long as we want to. We might want to create people around us as well. The only problem is we can't speak with them. They're just there. We've just materialized them. They don't have any kind of substance and they can't speak. We can evolve from there as well. We're there long enough, we might say, oh, I just need music. Just need music, sound. So we move into the, as somebody called it, the palace of sound. Whatever we believe sound is, it's beautiful. We move in there and we content ourselves with being there, being absorbed by the music, and the music absorbs us. And that's still moving away from the form. And this I call spiritual evolution. And so it's quite amazing when I've been given the gift of seeing this, how the astral of that person is taken higher all the time away from the earth. And I could see easily how materia is steeped in form, and that's the way it is. as we are as human beings. And then the next level of just beautiful nature, which helps people even on the earth. It helps our whole auric energy. We move into nature, mountains, the sea, the sky. So the memory of that being satisfying comes back, and that helps us to move on. But they have to be personal memories. They can't be a memory somebody gives us or an idea somebody gives us. And then they move into sound. And all the time we're moving away from density into a higher vibration. And eventually we move from the sound satisfaction into total creativity, into our intuitive, because instinctual has been brought in and merged with it through the mansions, through the stages, through the passages. And then we become one with consciousness. We expand so much in consciousness that there is no other. We become one with it. We're enveloped into it, Haigas Gamas. And from there, we inspire the earthlings. And from there, the space of beauty and wonder and absolute presence of consciousness. From this place, we can decide to come to earth again or not. And mostly the only reason we'll come is to assist those who are hurting, to be of help to the ones who are struggling on the earth, to show them a different way and let them make the choice then of either entering a new way or not. But this choice is not available to us after death. There is nobody going to come to us and say, come, let me help you to choose another way. Although we hear of a lot of people saying, oh, these guides are coming. What guides and from where? If we are told all our lives that everything we need and want is within ourselves. To me, the guides are like the way people depict angels. They say angels are beautiful beings with wings. Well, I translate that as all the good and loving kindnesses that I've shown to people on the earth. All the times that I've gone that extra mile with someone. All the times when I've been honest in my relationships. When I've been authentic within myself. That throughout my life is forming a kind of energy that is almost taken space within an entity. That becomes an entity that goes with me at death. People call it angel, I call it my own loving kindness in an energetic form. And that'll be there to welcome me and to help me through my next spiritual evolution into full consciousness. And the idea of angels having wings means that it's above the earth energy. It's going deeper into consciousness. It's no longer affected by the earth, but we like to give the angels lovely faces and beautiful harps. That means we're keeping them on the earth. We're still attached to the earth, just to see it as a mist of beauty. And the same thing happens, I believe, and I was shown this in Germany, when we've gone through a life of just being selfish, that is, being self-absorbed, narcissistic. We cannot reach out to another. When our hands are just tightly fisted like this for ourselves, we're holding on to everything. That also is gathering up momentum of energetic particles, if you like. So that when we die, that'll go ahead of us, either as a gray blob or as beings of love. And that's what happened when I looked back on the earth. And I looked back when I was dying, and I could see these blobs of gray over certain countries. And then you could see these little lights coming in, so beautiful. So here and now, I decide whether I'm going to be that light and love, and these sound like silly words, lightsomeness and harmony and balance for the world afterwards, after I leave. I'm doing it now. That way, I don't become a saint when I die. I'm a saint on the earth. and the consequences of my actions will be there for me in the form of beautiful brightness and light or gray blob, depending on my actions. So there is still chance in the next life to evolve more spiritually. But nobody, my belief is, please just hear this, what I've seen, what I've heard, what I have worked with myself, and I can't get away from my first premise, and that is that all is within myself. The world is here, and out there is just a mirror of what's in here. I do believe that. Therefore, I must bring that to conclusion for the next life as well. I can't suddenly stop my own philosophy and say, oh, it'll be totally different when we die. We don't change when we die. We've got the same energy. And this is hard for people sometimes to grasp. Do you not suddenly become infused with God? No, you don't. Are you infused with God today? Yes. Well, you'll be infused with God when you die. This is the yardstick today. Maybe I'm too pragmatic sometimes, but I like to keep the philosophy sound, and I like to keep the philosophy authentic, and I like to keep it what's the word? In uniform. It doesn't suddenly change to meet some other view that I have. It has to be consistent. That's the word I'm looking for. It has to be consistent. Yeah, it'll take a little while just to be with that. So I'm going to ask you to be with that, and then I'm going to ask you to ask questions that are with you. If I can make anything clearer, I'm happy to do that. If I can't, then it stays as a question.
I have a question. Can I?
Yeah, of course.
It's so inspiring listening to you. This is it's personal. This one. It's um, well, it's more in my sleep, in my dreams. I'm wandering about a lot in my dreams. Yes, and my question would be, and I know one time you gave me feedback. You saw my astral body in the night, so my astral body is wandering about. What can I do? I'm thinking to myself, how can I be more conscious in my astral? As
Beautiful. It's a beautiful question. You look at your day, what has been the most prominent thought patterns flowing through your mind during the day? In other words, what is your energy being taken up with? What have I given my energy to during the day? What thoughts have I projected into the day? How did I get up that morning? What form was I in? Who did I meet? Who annoyed me? What in myself aggravated me? That means wandering. That's the wandering we do. And when we can look at the day and say, oh, yeah, yesterday I was speaking to so and so, and I haven't seen her for a long time. And it was lovely. We had a lovely conversation. Great. What happened in the afternoon? The afternoon, oh, I was supposed to go somewhere and it was cancelled. And was that good? No, it was very annoying because I had planned and so and so. Did you sit with that annoyance until it became calm? Because if you didn't, it's still there. It's still agitating. And it's still going through the nervous system. No matter how wonderful the rest of the day is, if we haven't cleared that, that interferes with the rest of the day. That's how I see it in me.
it's like moment to moment dealing with the instinctual.
Yeah, Oh, there you are again. Oh, you're annoyed now, you see, because it's starting to rain. Isn't this great? So it's raining outside and you're annoyed. Yes, I'm annoyed. Okay, isn't that interesting? Oh, look at there's a bird over there. Sometimes we have to distract the child who keeps the habit of and being annoyed. You really have to use wisdom with this stuff. I could sit all day being totally annoyed. I can't do this and I can't do that and I can't do the other. No, I don't want to see her. No, I don't want to hear him. No, I don't make a phone. No, no, no. Is anyone? So sometimes what I do is I sit and I say, what's that about? That's the sound of annoyance, the sound of frustration. So when I sit with that and deal with that, I pass on somewhere else. I go to another space in me, usually much more content, much more settled. So I bring that then into my evening time. What energy am I bringing from morning until 12 o'clock, from 12 o'clock until 4, from 4 until I go to bed? It's like taking a dose of tablets. You know, you take one at 9, you take one at 5, but it's to be done with the greatest grace and love of yourself. Because what you're doing, as I'm doing, is, and it's beautiful, we're getting to know ourselves. We're getting to know ourselves. And that's the most beautiful gift we can give ourselves, both on the earth and when we're dying.
Mm. Mm. Thank you. Thank you.
I would like to add a question to this. So, setting the intention before arriving at sleep, and that intention being that for the astral body to, whether it be a teaching or some form that may benefit myself as this human being, as this divine being, are we able to set that intention so that it's projecting onto that astral body, so that the experience may be that of learning? Are we able to do that?
Yes, of course. Of course you are. How else can the astral learn? The astral is me. I am the astral. The astral is the non-substance part of Phillida that has absorbed all her emotions, feelings, ideologies, and thoughts. Right? So I influence my astral body throughout my life. I am the influencer of my astral body. It only knows what I have taught it. It's only as evolved as I am. It is only spiritually evolved as I am. It depends on me for its education. So to educate the astral as you're lying in bed at nighttime, I do very deep breathing and I breathe out as if it's my last. And as I'm very conscious of breathing out a beautiful intention of being inspiration for the world after I die. Now, take that scientifically. If I'm creating these thoughts in my mind and I project them onto my astral being, I am creating a deeper knowing within me. I'm creating a wise being that I carry with me. There's never talk about out there being wise or being whatever. It's in here. And you know, I used to in Germany, I remember it well. I used to make room in the bed at night for my astral. I would make room for it. because to me it takes up my space anyway. And then I'd imagine this energy around me expanding into the whole of Germany. I see it expanding up to the north, and I see it expanding to the south to include all Nazis, all beings of all kinds in this loving, healing energy. So I'm teaching my astral to accept all beings as equal. I'm teaching my astral that it can project itself into all worlds and be very safe. Be very safe because it's blessed itself. I have blessed it in me. Does that make any sense to you?
Yes.
Yeah. Is that it? Anything else? No.
I have another question.
Okay.
So from your own near-death experience, can we project that deep love, the harmony and balance that you talk about, that experience, can we draw that into our death in that's been an experience from a near death? Can we hold that and project that forward?
My belief is no. My belief is that we have near-death experiences at certain times of our experiences in the earth. And they're for that time. And I can see clearly the grace and the amazing compassion of my near-death experience when I was at a stage in my life when I was almost suicidal. When the violence within met the violence without, and there's a child to look after, both within me and Aithe. And in 1973, I was like a zombie. My only delight in the world was my little girl, two years of age. And I put a lot of emphasis on my love for her because she kept me on the earth, literally. At this time, there was a fire in my house. I'm fully responsible for it because I didn't put off the electricity on the the chip pan. That's when my friend came to see me. So I'm responsible for what happened there. Unconsciously, I needed escape. Unconsciously, this was the way to do it. All unconscious. When I had my near-death experience, I could see what was happening all around me. I could see my daughter was fine. I could see that everything was okay. And I didn't want to go back. I didn't want to go back because nothingness was better than the somethingness that I had. Nothingness was better than the somethingness that I had in my life. And I did not hear people speaking. I didn't see Jesus. Nothing like that. I was impressed, and that's the word I've been using since then. I was impressed with knowledge that I didn't understand at that time. But I could feel it being infused into me. And at those days, I would never have asked questions, what's going on, because I couldn't have cared less what was going on. And I know that the impression was not in words, but again an impression. You will not understand any of this, but as you need it, we will teach you, and do not read any spiritual books. I didn't know what that meant because there were no spiritual books in Northern Ireland anyway. There were yoga books. So when I came back from the earth, or come back from it back to earth, I was again back in zombie land, functioning. No more conscious than I had been before. And now filled with some kind of guilt that I started the fire, and guilt that my dear daughter had to go to a neighbor, and guilt then that my poor husband had to come and sit by my bed and cry. So do I want to project that near-death experience onto my next death? No. It'll be clear, it'll be something different because I've lived something different in the meantime. I'll be having a different experience of dying. I'll be having a different experience of my life up until death than I had up until my near-death experience. I'm now more conscious than I was then, not because of my near-death experience, but because I've done my emotional work, because I've accepted and loved my instinctual self into my intuition, where both teachers teach me now. It took away any fear of death. But I didn't have the words to, I couldn't articulate in those days. I could only articulate through singing. Does that make it any clear? Thank you. So for me, no, I'll be okay. I'll be fine dying. I have no fear of it. And there's no guilt. There's a difference. No guilt. Some people say, oh, they had a wonderful near-death experience. Spoke to God and God spoke to them. And, you know, I just, that's their experience. They need a God to tell them they're okay. It'd have been lovely for me if Jesus had appeared and said, you're fine, dear, all is well, you're a beautiful, oh, how gorgeous that might have been. How beautiful that would have been. No. You're getting information here, it's been downloaded, you'll not know what it's about, it'll make you more confused for a long time, and then suddenly you'll understand it. Now do you want to go back? No, I don't. No, I don't.
Can I ask another question?
Oh, of course, dear, carry on.
Just back to, actually, it was a revelation when you spoke about guilt in the beginning. Something about the way you articulated it felt like a new to me. And my question is because, yeah, guilt is very heady, and you named it being it's in the earth mind. I'm wondering if you can say anything about how you can go from guilt and realizing you're in your head, you're in your earth mind,
Yeah.
to feeling. I wonder if you can talk a bit about that.
Okay, you've got to ask yourself very, very basic questions. What is guilt? So tell me, what's your conception about guilt? What have you conceived as guilt in your life?
Well, it would be I've done something wrong.
Okay, so
I'm in trouble. I've done something wrong.
and when would this have been your experience? When would you have thought that?
Oh, I can get it quite easily because I have a lot of it. So it would be, oh, I've said the wrong thing.
Was
I've
that, I'm
articulated.
asking, was that a child, was that from childhood, or did it happen a couple of years ago? When did it happen?
Oh, it'll happen as an adult, but it very much so. It derives from childhood, from
From
being in
childhood.
trouble. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the child is saying to herself, I have done something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you see, in a child's mind, they stroke out the something and they just say, I am wrong. It's that sense within the child that I am wrong. Therefore, everything I do is wrong. This is the conceptual mind of the child. It's about me all the time. The world is there for me. The sun shines for me. It's all narcissistic. Not only have I done something wrong, but I am basically wrong. So there, everything that comes out is wrong. So if you start off in life being wrong, how do you get right?
You talk to yourself, you parent yourself, you reassure yourself, you.
Yeah. So, excuse me, this keeps coming on even though I put it off. I don't know what's going on here. It's still off, but it's bleeping. I'm just going to try and turn it off again for the third time. So I am wrong. Just feel that inside yourself. You're a small child and you've done something that possibly delighted you. You possibly like doing it. And suddenly it's wrong and you're wrong for doing it. Now, when did the message come from? Who gave you the message?
You're asking me to answer that, but to be both my parents would have given me that message.
Both. So here's two people that you're totally dependent on for life. They're bigger, so you have to look up at them. They know everything and you don't know anything. And if they say you're wrong, you're wrong. So you take that in and that stays with you. Authority says, I'm wrong. So any authority will take on the energy of mother and father to the child, because you're still a child when you feel guilty. Anytime you're feeling guilty, it's child. So you're taking on that energy. I am wrong. And the world becomes mother and father. So you get a fear of authority. You get a fear of doing something wrong. So you do the very right thing as best right as you can. And you put all your energy into getting it right. And you know something? Nobody notices that you're doing it right. So there's a grief in that as well. They didn't see that I did all that. I'm not saying this is you, but this can accompany this childhood guilt stuff. Then as an adult, you begin to question, can I trust the messengers of this guilt? Can I trust my mother and father? Can I trust the messengers that they were right and I was wrong? Well, as an adult, you'll see you can't. Because they got that wrong as well, and they got that wrong too, and they didn't know about that, and they didn't know about the other. So what I'm doing as an adult, I'm putting my trust, faith, and hope into two people that were not right, didn't get it right. But the residue of the wrong still lives in me. So when I can say to myself, okay, can't trust the messengers, they got things wrong too, that they're not feeling the guilt, and maybe they are. I'm carrying guilt from people that I can no longer trust. Now, how am I going to deal with that? I deal with it as an adult. And I say, okay, I take on responsibility for my deeds. I'm an adult. I take on the responsibility. I will not blame. I will not shame out there. or I will not shame and blame in here. I take the responsibility. That gives me power. Guilt keeps me small. Responsibility raises me to adult. Now, will I act in my life from the small child, or do I intend to be an adult? The choice, my friend, is yours. Easy mathematics.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Beautiful. Guilt to responsibility. Yes. Yeah. Well, it's a beautiful way of saying it. Wow. I love it. Mm.
I'd like to ask another question in relation to the mansions. So we get to the end of the deathing process, and I have, up to that point, in my heart, decided that I would like to enter a specific mansion. But then when it comes to nearing the death, and where that agitation and fear takes hold and almost blindsides and causes this inner confusion, where do I go to being that person in that deafening process? What brings me back to that place of almost grounding, because I'm still in the earth body, but yet ready to move in?
What is it that brings you back here and now? When you're in a place of confusion in your life, when you're in a place of not knowing, when everything seems terrible, what brings you back?
To the that
equilibrium, to equilibrium.
Yeah, that inner peace. And
how do you do that?
Breathe. Drop into that space within. The space, maybe for me, that feels like the heart center.
Do you look at what is it? What's going on in your life that's bringing this annoyance and bringing this confusion? Do you look at the origin of it? Or do you just work with, I'm bringing peace and light into that to cover that?
No.
Again tomorrow?
No. The work is done on the dysfunctional as much as the functional. And it's about bringing that balance of the anima and the animus within myself.
Now, how do you do that?
By expression. The dysfunctional, by that awareness of my the dysfunctional emotions that I may be projecting in my life, in this life at present.
Yes, yes.
And the awareness and working with that. So I guess that's my way of bringing that inner equilibrium.
Yes.
Awareness.
Well, if you're doing that in your life, and that's the way you live your life, and that's your habit of living, You will not suddenly change at death, no matter what distractions come in, no matter what confusion. There will not be confusion. We're doing this work also so that we don't have confusion at the end, so that we will have a lovely, straightforward journey. As below, so above. Do you get that?
Yeah. So we die as we have lived.
As we have lived. We die as we have lived. But some people, that's when I say to people, please don't be distracted by things. Focus is so important nowadays, especially with so many distractions, with so many people we want to be in, so many places we want to be in, and so many things we want to do. And it's coming in all around, stimulation, stimulation, stimulation. And we're trying to keep up at the same time with the quickening of the vibrations in our world, in our cosmos at the moment. We're heightening our vibrations. And we think by doing more and by more activity, we'll be helped. No, we won't. It's the opposite. When everything is like this, the electricity is just mounting up everywhere and people's energies are heightened and they're talking more quickly, as I am at the moment, and everything is done very, very quickly, and quick actions to get as much done in the day as possible. That's called overload and overwhelm of the nervous system. If we live like that here and now and don't change that, remember the vibrations and the consciousness expands as we're dying, and there'll be more of that going on. Can we keep focused? We practice here to keep our focus. No, I won't be taken away from that. Would you like to do that and that and that? Oh, I'd love to. Yes, I'll do. Yeah, and I'll fit in that too. No, wait do see now? Yeah, I'll fit in those three things. Yeah, but no problem. No, I will, honestly. We're living in an age of definitely heightened awareness, but a heightened awareness that that our nervous systems can't keep up with. And I see it every day, and I have people calling me every day. Where it was, my hands are shaking for what's going on. I'm shaking in bed at night. My legs won't stop shaking. What's going on? You see, we're becoming doing people instead of being ourselves. Being driven. And there's seems to be no guide inside to say that's enough, sweetheart. No, you don't go there. But I've been offered that. Yeah, I know, but you don't go there. I would just see if I could only get that, it'd be great. And they've offered it to me. I'm doing that. Okay. See what you have to release in order to do that. Do you see what it's going to cost your nervous system? Well, I'm getting more money. See what it's going to cost your nervous system. Starts here. My death starts today. I'm dying today. How am I preparing for that? All dismal and terrible and dark and what have you. Well, I'll go to hell then, if that's what I'm thinking. A great way of providing hell. Hell for myself on earth. Guilt, carrying self-disgust, carrying drivenness within me, carrying blame, allowing myself to be shamed and shaming others, etc. There you are, there's enough. Carry that today, carry it tomorrow, it gets bigger tomorrow, the next day, when I would release that stuff. If I die today with all that, I'm going to hell. God will not do it. God has no power over me. God has no power over me. My will is stronger than God. There's one for the Gospels. The will of the human being is stronger than God. God does not make me do things I don't want to do. God cannot coerce me into things that I don't want to do. I have that power to say no, both to God and to human beings. But I don't use it in case of fear. Fear will crop up. I'm afraid to say no. What would happen if I say no? You start living your life. Mm. Well, one more question. That'll be it, please.
I don't have any more questions.
Thank you, Prima.
Neither do I.
Well, I hope that was as clear as I can make it for you. At least my personal opinions, anyway. I'll create your own and live by them. And be happy with them. Be content into death with them. Where the candle?
It's profoundly clear.
Oh, that's good. Sometimes my problem with speech is that I see it, and I can't get. That is sometimes a problem for me to actually be clear in what I'm seeing, because I see it before I say it.
I'm so glad this was recorded.
Okay.
Beautiful teaching. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I've learned a lot. Thank you. Thank you. To those who are dying in fear, you may not accept it, but we send you comfort. Go to a memory that was love. Go to a memory that was pure. Go to a memory that delighted your heart, and stay there, and stay there, and stay there.